Probably the star lot of the sale. And it's a painting by Georges Braque, and it was done in, I believe, 1928, sort of part of his Cubist period. And it's a small one, but it's in for $200,000 to $300,000. And again, we've had a lot of interest in this lot. And there's a similar one at the Norton Simon on view.
Wow.
So again, you know, the collecting is kind of interesting because he has some very contemporary, abstract Spanish young painters, and then some ones that were also, that we know as kind of historical pieces now almost, you know, the paintings.
Ah, so what makes Braque historical?
Well, you know, he's on the forefront of the movement with Picasso with Cubism.
Okay.
And it really was something quite unusual at the time. And it's interesting, too, because a lot of these painters seem to appeal to musicians. And I don't know if it was kind of the different looser structure with which they were painting that, you know, musicians you associate with jazz and things like that. But they seem to collect those things. So it's kind of fun to see them in the wall.
See their flavors.
Yes. And this is one of his pianos. And we have a fun photo here of him with the MGM lion playing the piano.
With this piano. That's
so
neat.
He was involved in a lot of different events, but that's kind of, you can see that the history of his life in the movies. You know, he's in Anchors Away and all sorts of other things, and usually at some point he was either conducting or behind a piano. He always played himself in the films. So this is a painting by a Russian artist of the name Servage, and the Russian art market right now is incredibly popular. It's a lot of interest, and things tend to go for a great deal of money anytime you can attribute them to that country. It's a big collecting area, I think, partly because the economy over there is allowing people to buy back their own property that ended up going other places when they didn't have the funds, and also because it's an area that really wasn't as open to explore artistically in the past. And so it really has become an area where there's a great deal of interest. So we're very excited about this painting, and I think it should do quite well. It's in for about $30,000 to $50,000.
Very interesting.
And let's see, we maybe should show you some of the Elsie de Wolfe furniture. This area over here kind of gives a glimpse into the Elsie de Wolfe interiors. She was known for doing some very unique things with color. She also would take old things and recreate them, like the dining room table, chairs, things of that nature, something that was maybe a little bit more traditional, and put a fun twist on it with a great color or accent of some nature. As you can see in the picture, she had this wall mural done as well, and it really helped pop the room. The room were floors were painted black lacquer, so it was, and you think that was done in the 1930s. So right now that looks like a very contemporary interior.
It does.
To us, but when you look at that room setting and think about what people, how they were living and what their homes looked like, that was quite avant-garde. She was also known for a lot of mirrored decoration in tables and chairs, and in this sale we do have mirrored vanities and backgammon tables and even a bedroom set. So, and there is quite a following for Elsie de Wolfe, and they're very excited anytime any of her things come on the market, so we're looking forward to that.
Well, that's interesting because she's the designer that pulled it all together.
She's kind of the first person who ever charged for good taste. So she made her name on that. She started out on the stage, but had exceptionally good taste and started to do a little designing projects for friends and charging them, and is really kind of considered America's first lady in decorating. And most other decorators sort of hold her up as a milestone in their careers, what they want to achieve. She's really worked with everybody coming up the ranks. So she's an amazing lady in her own right and quite feisty.
Is this part of the same auction?
Yes, these are part of the same auction, which is kind of interesting what I was saying about, you know, the person's taste and what they, this painting you wouldn't think would appeal to the same person who was interested in the Braque, because they're kind of different thought processes. This is a very classical painting, and certainly it's a Madonna and Child on top of that, compared to the sort of abstract Braque that was in the other room. So it's kind of funny. And this one's in for $30,000 to $50,000. It's the School of Rio. These two are Remingtons, and that market is in another area of American art that people can't get enough of. And Remington in particular can garner prices in the millions. A lot of it has to do with the patination and the number of the casting and who the casting was done by, what foundry. We're very lucky in that these have fairly low numbers. I believe one of ours is a 36, and the Rattlesnake's in for $250,000, and the Bronco Buster is in for $150,000. And there was a recent sale of Remingtons, and they broke a lot of world records, so we're very excited about these two pieces. They should do quite well.
That's pretty good.